Imagine feeling scared, really scared.
Fear races through your veins.
Your stomach's knotted.
Your eyes blur.
Because you have to read aloud in class.
Imagine carrying these fears every day.
Imagine what that does to your self-confidence.
You can't.
Unless you're dyslexic.
The biggest stigma that is attached to a dyslexic person is that they're stupid or that they're lazy. And if they just try harder, you can get it, you can learn how to read, just put more effort into it. And that's not the case at all.
It's costing us a huge amount not to educate people. It's costing us on the individual level. And I think it's a tragedy any time that a child is not given the opportunities to live up to their potential.
We don't want to promote dyslexia as a disability, but it's the only way we can promote it within industry. It's the tool that the government has given us.
Made me feel bad because I couldn't write my name.
A child perceives and processes words, numbers, and symbols.
I was like every other kid, except that I wore that space helmet. Yeah, life is good. Until I went to school.
Difference? I like that. That's great. I think a lot more people would be apt to recognize it in their kids if it's called a learning difference as opposed to a learning disability.
In the Mind's Eye argues that we are moving into a new era where pictures will replace the written word, and that the unique visual skills of dyslexics will place them at the forefront of innovations in a dramatically changing society.
Primary teacher for 22 years, and I have never seen anything reach each student as quickly and thoroughly as Davis Learning Strategies.
By playing that word and seeing it, really paying attention to that word, they can differentiate words that seem really the same. We have words in our language like where and were, only one letter difference. When a kid is reading those in a book, they get them confused a lot. They look a lot alike. But when they play that word and they really see what is there, then they can differentiate those words in reading. And we have a lot of words like that in the English language.
You can see them seeing each letter as they spell it backwards and just imprinting that word right in their mind. So by the time they finish spelling that forward and backward and forward, that they can see each and every letter in that word and they really know how to spell.
It used to be the case that people thought there was only one kind of intelligence, and that was general intelligence. But for a number of years now, we've had people like Howard Gardner who've identified 7, 8 or 9 different forms of intelligence. There's mathematical, logical intelligence, there's musical intelligence, there's physical, sporting kind of intelligence, and there's spatial and creative kinds of intelligence. And if you have a system which focuses on one of these, then of course it's to the detriment of all the others.
Dyslexia meant you had a special skill.
A capacity to discover new solutions to old problems.
Imagine if dyslexia was a gift.
Capable of propelling you to the highest of achievements.
Imagine that these achievements were made possible not in spite of, but because you were dyslexic.